Welcome to This Week in Morgan County. I'm your host, Russell Mokhiber. Our guest this week is Ronnie Stotler. Ronnie is a lifelong resident of Morgan County, and he's running for sheriff of Morgan County as a Republican on the May 10th primary ballot. He'll be running against Wade Shambaugh and Casey Borer. There are no Democrats in the race. Ronnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're a graduate, you're a lifelong resident of Berkeley Springs, Morgan County, and you graduated Berkeley Springs High School in '82. Tell us what you've been doing since.
Well, when I graduated, I took a job at Vansco Industries in Winchester, and I was welding on timberline stoves there for a couple years. I got laid off. Took a job in Hancock with Fleetwood Travel Trailers, where I was also welding there. I got laid off there and went to work for the Department of Public Safety Correctional Service in 1989, and I've been with them ever since. I've actually started in Hagerstown and at Maryland Correctional Institution, transferred from there to Cumberland at Western Correctional Institution in 1996. In 2006, I transferred from there to North Branch Correctional Institution in Cumberland, Maryland, maximum security prison.
And that's where you are now.
And that's where I'm currently working
By the way,
today.
timberline stoves.
Good stoves, good stoves.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Maybe you welded the one that we have.
Possibly.
Could be. Okay, so Cumberland, man, what do you do in Cumberland? What's your?
I'm actually the major on 7 to 3 shift. I actually oversee the daily operations within the prison as far as all activities, functions, and the welfare of the inmates, and make sure they get fed, rec, education, maintenance issues, anything like that to keep the prison running and operating while protecting the
So you commute
people.
every day?
Yes, sir.
What's that commute like?
60 miles, hour and 15 minutes each way.
All right. What is, now have you ever run for public office?
No, sir.
What made you decide to do this?
Well, I have 2 beautiful daughters. I've lived in Morgan County my whole life, and it saddens me to see the issues with the drug problems around here. And for my kids to want to live here and raise their kids, I'd like to make a difference in the future for these kids, because that's the future for Morgan County.
All right. And what exactly is the job of sheriff? What does the sheriff do?
Well, the sheriff's responsible for court coverage, serving subpoenas, and anything like as far as court documents out to the public. And then he's also responsible for custody of people that's going to be incarcerated. So
But also law enforcement.
Yes, also law enforcement.
And there are issues related to that.
Yes.
And you came out with a platform, which we covered in Morgan County, USA. One of the things that interests me is you said you want to establish a Citizens Advisory Council.
Yes.
Why, and what is that?
That Citizen Advisory Council will be a team of citizens from all areas of the county. For, say, Paw, we'll try to get one from there, one from like Drake Cape and Berkeley Springs, all throughout the county, which will meet with the sheriff once a month, and they'll be able to tell me issues or problems that they're having in their communities, such as, speeding, maybe drug activity or anything like breaking and entries. Now, things of seriousness need to be reported immediately straight to the sheriff's office, but if this is things that we can focus on and put extra patrols in the area to lessen that criminal activity, then that's what we'll do. I'll be able to assign more patrols in that area to better support and protect the people.
And when we spoke earlier, you indicated to me that you thought that there were real issues with the current sheriff's office. What do you think they are? I mean, how do you think that you could do better than the current sheriff's office?
First of all, they don't have a policy patrol manual that they actually are running on. I would implement a policy patrol manual from an accredited sheriff's office in the region. It would serve as a guideline for the officers both on and off duty. Without that, you actually don't have anything for these guys to actually run on. It'll tell them their job, what they can and can't do, both on and off duty. So they need to be held to a standard of, where they're at when you put a uniform on. I wear a uniform every day, and I conduct myself both on and off duty accordingly. So that kind of thing needs to happen.
There's no manual that tells the officers right now what the standards of behavior are?
My understanding is we don't have an operational manual there.
Okay, so you would implement that?
I would implement one that's accredited through CLIA. So it's going to come from an office in the region better serve the people
And
while
CLEA,
still accomplishing
CLEA is
our
what?
mission.
CLEA is like a national organization that sets standards
Yes.
for local police officers.
Yes.
What are some of the issues that you see? I mean, just as a citizen of Morgan County, one issue that I see is that citizens are afraid to drive through town. They think that the officers there are there. Some citizens think this. One complaint I've heard is, okay, the officers are there to raise money. So if you're going, they're like these speed traps that are being set for people coming through town, most prominently north of town, coming in off the bridge. That's okay to do that, right? You don't want people speeding through town.
Yes, we definitely don't want speeding through town because it jeopardizes people that's on the road and people that's out and about. So one of my main focuses is accountability. So, you have staff that's working under you as their sheriff. I would hold those people accountable. But also, if they do something good, I'd like for the people to call in or write in and let me know that one of my officers went above and beyond, so I could actually put something in his file, recognition for him too. So it's not all about always discipline, but you do discipline so you don't have reoccurring situations. And I think that's something that's lacking right now, the leadership, the accountability, and I'll bring that to the sheriff's office.
What have you heard in terms of abuse by police officers in Morgan County?
Some of the things when they're pulled over, the cursing at them, treating them with disrespect and things of that nature. So a lot of complaints by people coming up to me and talking to me about that. So just because you're wearing a uniform don't mean you have the right to disrespect another person, You actually should be the professional in it. You're wearing a uniform.
And there have also been some court cases brought against the sheriff's department about abuse. Is that correct?
My understanding, that is correct. That's all in the courthouse. It's public record. I know we've actually paid money out, paid money out on some of these cases, which settlements on the courthouse steps, and staff still continue to have their job and no documentation or no discipline at all. So,
do you know how your platform, the platform that you're running on, differs from your opponents, Wade Shambaugh and Casey Burr? Have you seen what they're running on and how you would do the job differently from them?
I haven't really seen a whole lot of what they're going to do other than a lot of, hey, here's my certifications, my qualifications, and from them, and then a dedicated professional that's served 15 years and the people owe it to him. I'm telling you, this is what I'm going to do. I will implement these policies, and I will implement the citizen advisory to better protect the people, and I will combat the drug issues.
Are citizen advisory boards common around the country? Do you see them often? I think it's a great idea, but I'm wondering, is that something that is prevalent or not?
I think it would serve us here because, our resource in the sheriff's office is limited versus 29,000 people out in the county. So without the people telling me what's going on, it's going to be hard for me to fix the issues and problems that we have. So I'm better serving the people if they can help me. So working together, I think we can make it a better place and a safer place to raise our kids.
And how often would you meet with the citizens on the advisory board, and how would you choose them? How would you decide who would be on the board?
That selection, we're going to look at that selection as far as they'll apply, and we'll decide how we're going to pick these people. But we'll meet once a month with the sheriff in the courthouse. It'll be non-paid. This will all be strictly volunteer. So it'll be them wanting to make their communities, living areas, a safer place. So with that in mind, they can come out once a month and meet with me. We can discuss the issues and better, serve them as far as me getting more patrols in the area to stop the criminal activity. So, and we all know that's, if someone's there going to do something illegal and they see a cop, they're most likely going to vacate the area. So I got a sign in my office. I use that all the time. It's called MBWA, managed by walking around. So I walk around the institution, and a lot of times just presence deters activities. It's not, to be going on, so.
Correct. Tell us a little bit about the office. What's the budget? How many staff? About the sheriff's office. What's the budget? How many officers are there? How many patrol cars? That kind of thing.
Well, at this point, I'm not 100% sure of the budget. I don't know what their budget is. I'm thinking, I'm not positive, but I'll research that and find out exactly what the budget is.
What's your understanding about staffing? How many officers? That kind of thing.
Well, my understanding is we have 11 officers there. We have reserve officers too, deputy reserves that assist with activities and like canal, apple butter and things like that. So as far as football games, directing traffic and things like that too. So
now on the drug issue, it's a nationwide issue. It's actually a federal issue. What can a sheriff do about it?
Well, you can work with federal, state, and other agencies and, try to combat this, but it is an epidemic, and, it's just running rampant from here to Martinsburg to Baltimore. So they're actually calling Martinsburg Little Baltimore now, and it's coming straight up the interstates, and it's coming through our county and in our county. So so you would work with other agencies to try and crack down on it? Yes.
But I noticed that in your statement, let me just read you this on the drug issue. You say that the drug abuse problem wreaks havoc on our families, communities, schools, while affecting all of our human services. It overloads our prisons and seriously diminishes our ability to meet many challenges of today's society. And there's a big debate in society about what to do about it. Some people think that we shouldn't be arresting people for minor drug offenses because it's overloading the prisons and so forth. And you work in the prison industry.
Yes.
And I don't know what percentage of the inmates in Cumberland are drug offenders, or if it's more serious. But what do you think of that whole debate of decriminalization for minor drug offenses?
The decriminalization, I see it every day in the prison system. I mean, they come in there, if they do get locked up and they're on drugs, the medical department actually gives them drugs to wean them off of it. So they'll be on drugs for maybe 6 to 8 weeks before they wean those people down. Because taking them off cold turkey is a bad thing, because they sometimes mentally they just go berserk and do things and harm themselves and sometimes take their own lives, so.
But what do you think though about on the question of decriminalization? Should we be look at that whole question and not fill our prisons with minor drug offenders?
As far as should we not, there's only way to stop it. You have to combat the drugs, and if we just slap them on the fingers and turn them back out, they're going to get right back out and do what they're doing. As far as that, we need to better educate the people. We need something here for them as far as clinics where these people that want help can get help. I know they have meth clinics in Martinsburg, but it's expensive, and it's easier for them to go out here and buy the drug and get high again than it is to go to a clinic. So that's one of the main issues we have here in this county, because it's so easy to get it, and it's cheaper than going to a clinic to get the help, which is sad.
What's the major drug problem in Morgan County?
Heroin's the major drug problem that we have here in Morgan County.
And that's unbelievable. I mean, when you listen even to the presidential debates, you hear candidates say, it's a beautiful country, it's a beautiful state, I love the people. Almost every place I go, especially like for places like New Hampshire, your candidates say almost every place I go, the first thing people say is, we've got a heroin epidemic in this state. How did that happen? How did heroin infiltrate our county?
Well, it all started, they started shipping this stuff out of Baltimore. So, and you got 81 that comes from the south up, and it's just an interstate for drugs. They just run a series on TV last week about drug corridor between 70 and 81. So it's definitely an epidemic. And if you look at Martinsburg, and if you're familiar with things that's going on there, they have overdoses there like daily. And we have them here in our county that go to the hospital here. And of course, we have one security guy up there that's kind of hard for them to control, a guy that's combative and on drugs. So we try to keep, at least I will try to keep somebody sent up there when we can on duty to better, assist those people when they're trying to do medical issues on a guy.
What is, now let's go back to the Sheriff's Department and their needs. Now you've talked about the Sheriff's Department needing more modern equipment, and also the issue of body cameras.
Yes.
Body cameras is a big issue nationally, not just in Morgan County. Do we have them here? Should we have them here? And why?
I was told we did have them. I'm not positive about that, but if we do have them, we should be utilizing them. There's 3 studies, one in South Florida, one in San Diego, and another one, I think it's in Michigan. But all of those states did a year-long study on these body cameras. And those studies come out with anywhere from 41 to 53% reduction of use of force in those offices, and as much as 65% of citizen complaints. So if you're using the cameras, it better serves and protects my officers and the citizens while reducing the amount of frivolous lawsuits that we're incurring in our county. So now I can utilize my people to better serve and protect because we're not dealing with these frivolous lawsuits and issues.
You like the idea of putting body cameras? I mean, when you say body cameras, are these cameras on each officer?
Yes.
And how do they work? Where are they actually?
Actually, there's several places you can put them, but mainly they just hook to your uniform, and they're on record. They're recording from the time you stop of the stop.
And it prevents abuse.
It actually prevents abuse a lot of times from the citizens or the person that you pull over, because if they know they're on camera, they're not going to act out and cause a bunch more problems and issues.
And it also prevents abuse by the police.
It also prevents my staff from being unprofessional, and they'll be professional when dealing with them, and that's the goal.
Now you said that in Cumberland, where you work, one of the things you like to do is walk around to make sure everything's okay.
Yes.
How would that work in Morgan County?
Managed by walking around? Actually, just getting out and talking to the people. You're serving the people. The people's actually paying the sheriff's office, the people, all their deputies and all to do this job. So getting out and about, that's a positive thing. The people, I hear things like, well, we never see anybody in Paw Paw, because I went up there and spoke, and those people are taxpayers too. They pay the same taxes that we're paying here, and they deserve the same type of coverage as they're getting anywhere else. Down like the woods, there's a place right past the Berkeley County line that swings back in, and Morgan County's down there. They never ever see anyone down there. I've talked to multiple people there, and no one ever patrols their area. Unless there's a complaint, then they go down there, which that's something that I would like to change and put patrols in all areas of the county. So.
If someone makes a 911 call in Morgan County, do they get state police or do they get the sheriff?
They actually goes through 911 and they dispatch it out. So it's a 911 call. So they dispatch it probably to, I don't know if it goes straight to the sheriffs or to the state police at this point, because I've not worked in either one of those, but I would suspect it goes to both. I mean, they're both law, so as far as sheriff's department and state police.
You are a lifelong resident of the county. Tell us a little bit about your family. What was the work of your parents, for example?
My dad's a sheet metal worker. My mom's a homekeeper, so she never went out. She was always there to raise us kids. My grandparents lived in Morgan County, and they had a farm off Rockford Road over in Great Capon. And my grandpap, Mickey McManus, a lot of people knew him. He worked at Fairchild 7 days a week and farmed. But part of the farming was part of our issue as kids and grandkids. So we went out and made hay and picked corn. He didn't have a corn picker. It was grandkids that did the corn picking and shucking it back in those days. But as far as my dad, he worked out of town a lot because sheet metal work was always union work, and it was like Mount Storm, Baltimore, and all over the place. So. And
did you was that over in Great Capon where you grew up?
Yes.
Okay, so you grew up over there?
Yes.
What about siblings, cousins? Was it a big family or what?
Yes, we had on my mom's side they had 8 kids. So And on my dad's side, they had 6 or 7.
Wow, so you have a big family.
Yes. And then I have a brother and a sister. So.
And you're married. What's your wife do? How old are your kids?
I married Tina Bordas, which is Tina Bordas Stotler now. Okay. And I have 2 beautiful daughters, Brittany and Brooke. Brittany's in college up at ACC, going through a dental hygiene program. My youngest one's here in high school, will graduate this year. And I get another one starting college. So.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So how do you see the election playing out? What do you think the key issues in the election should be?
The key issues in the election should be, people want change. They want to be treated fairly, and they want accountability, both in the sheriff's office as far as what they do and how they do it. Leadership. They want leadership. They want somebody that's actually going to control them. At least I think that's what this county needs. You need somebody that's going to go in there and manage and lead, and you have to let your people know what you want done and what you're going to do. And I will do the things that I said I'll do. I'll implement the policies and the patrol manual, and I think the Citizen Advisory Council is a good thing. So, with the people, and we can work together. Now, as far as 3 of us running, they're all Republicans. This race, like you said, will be decided in May. So it's going to split this vote up really,
What's your anticipation on turnout? Like, how many people usually vote for this kind of election?
Well, I think there's probably around 6,000 or so that usually vote in the primary. You don't get a big turnout for primary elections, but general elections, they had 13,394 in the general last election.
Right, but for the primary, 2,000 votes is going to win it.
Possibly.
So if you get 2,000 votes, you might win it. You might take it. Is there any indication? Do you have any sense of how you're doing or not?
I'm doing well. I just had a meet and greet. Angus and Ale had 80 plus people there, and had a good turn last night. Okay. Had a good turnout. Everything went well. As far as campaigning, I'm out here campaigning, and seems to be going well.
Talking to us?
Yes.
Well, congratulations on running for office. Good luck to you. And we probably will be interviewing your opponents also, just out of fairness if they want. So they're welcome to come on the show. And we'll see what happens May 10th. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching This Week in Morgan County.